Good evening. Tonight, we're diving into antinatalism, a philosophy that questions whether bringing new life into the world is always a good thing. It's not about hating babies or wishing away humanity. It's about asking if birth by default is a positive act. We'll explore arguments from suffering to environmental impact, and even the idea of procreation licensing. The goal isn't to convert you, but to spark a thoughtful conversation about a choice most people never question. Parenthood is often seen as the default, but maybe it's time to challenge that assumption. So, settle in and let's examine why, for some, not having kids makes a lot of sense. Suffering is universal. Every life, no matter how lucky, faces pain. Illness, grief, disappointment, fate is a lottery, and many lose. Antinatalism says non-existence means no pain, and that's a stronger ethical imperative than possible pleasure. The worst pains outweigh the best pleasures. Choosing not to create life isn't pessimism, it's compassion. That's the foundation of antinatalism. Now, let's zoom out overpopulation. With nearly 10 billion people projected by 2050, our resources, water, food, land, are under immense strain. Every new person means more demand, more pollution, more pressure on a finite planet. Sustainability efforts are undermined if we keep adding to the problem. It's like mopping up a flood while the tap is still running. The issue isn't that people are bad, but that our collective footprint is unsustainable. Choosing not to add another consumer is one of the most impactful environmental decisions you can make. Ignoring the math just leaves a bigger bill for the next generation. Each new human has a massive environmental impact. Having one fewer child reduces your carbon footprint more than any other choice. More people means more cities, roads, and habitat loss. We're driving the sixth mass extinction. We are the asteroid this time. The most radical act? Not creating another passenger. Let's talk about consent. In every other area of life, consent is crucial, except birth. No one consents to being born. It's a gamble imposed by parents. The unborn have no needs, no desires, no suffering. By creating life, you create needs and risks that didn't exist before. Even the best parents can't guarantee a child's safety from disease, accident, or despair. The antinatalist argument, it's ethically wrong to impose such risk without consent. Birth is the ultimate non-consensual act. The principle of do no harm is violated at the very start. Is it right to create a problem just so you can try to solve it? Genetics is a lottery, and every child is a ticket. We pass on not just eye color, but risks for disease, mental illness, and suffering. Choosing to have children with known genetic risks is a gamble where the child pays the price. We all carry genetic baggage, addiction, depression, anxiety. Adoption offers a way to care for existing children rather than creating new ones who may inherit preventable suffering. The ethical question, does the desire for a biological child justify the risk of passing on pain? Antinatalism says, focus on the child's quality of life, not the parent's wishes. Raising a child in the US costs over $250,000 before college. Many parents aren't financially prepared, leading to stress and lost opportunities. Bringing a child into poverty can be a form of harm. The antinatalist view, if you can't provide stability, don't have a child. It's not about shaming, but about real consequences for the child. Think before committing someone else to a lifetime of hardship. Emotional readiness is just as important as financial stability. Parenting requires patience, empathy, and self-awareness, qualities many lack. Yet there are no requirements for emotional maturity. Unresolved trauma, mental health issues, or emotional volatility can deeply harm a child. The antinatalist call radical self-examination before becoming a parent. If you're not truly prepared, having a child is selfish. The child's need for a stable, loving environment must come first. Child abuse and neglect are horrifyingly common. Millions of children suffer at the hands of those meant to protect them. Every birth carries a risk of abuse. one that can never be fully eliminated. The anti-natalist argument: if you can't guarantee a child's safety, don't create one. Preventing the possibility of extreme suffering outweighs the potential for happiness. The only way to ensure a child is never abused is for them never to be born. It's a harsh truth, but a necessary one. The prevention of suffering is the higher moral calling. Why do so many people have kids? Societal pressure. From fairy tales to government incentives, we're told parenthood is the default path. Many become parents without ever making a conscious choice. It's just what you do. Anti-natalism challenges this narrative, urging us to treat parenthood as a profound, deliberate decision. Being child-free should be as valid as being a parent. Removing the pressure allows for genuine choice. Fewer unwanted children, more thoughtful families. Where you're born shapes your entire life. A child in Switzerland has opportunities. A child in a war zone faces deprivation. The world's inequality means many are born into hardship with no chance for a decent life. Antinatalism argues it's unjust to create a life destined for suffering. The focus should be on improving existing lives, not adding more to the struggle. It's not about blaming individuals, but questioning the ethics of creating life in a broken system. Is it responsible to add another child to a world of radical inequality? Antinatalism introduces the idea of a right not to exist. Philosopher David Benatar's asymmetry, the absence of pain is good, the absence of pleasure is neutral, not being born means no suffering, an ethical good. We don't mourn the absence of pleasure for those who never existed. Creating life risks harm, not creating life guarantees none. The moral scales tip toward non-existence. Non-existence can't harm anyone. Existence inevitably will. Choosing not to create life is, logically, the safer ethical bet. Our population growth devastates non-human animals. Factory farming inflicts unimaginable suffering on billions. Every new human increases demand for meat, land and resources, fueling animal suffering and extinction. Habitat destruction for human expansion is a death sentence for wildlife. Antinatalism extends compassion to all sentient beings. Reducing human numbers is the most direct way to reduce animal suffering. The choice to have a child is a choice that impacts the entire animal kingdom. Even if you're not an antinatalist, consider quality over quantity. Shouldn't we focus on ensuring every child has a good life rather than maximizing numbers? A smaller population means more resources, better education, and less environmental stress. It's better to have fewer people living well than billions struggling. This approach demands hard questions before celebrating every birth. If you can't provide a good life, maybe don't create one. Deliberate, thoughtful creation of life benefits everyone. Trauma is another inheritance we pass on. Unhealed wounds become generational cycles of pain. Many parents, despite good intentions, transmit their own dysfunctions. Breaking the cycle is hard and rare. Antinatalism suggests, if you carry deep trauma, the most compassionate act is to end the cycle with you. Choosing not to have children is a final act of protection. It's a refusal to pass on suffering. Creating a new life is the ultimate responsibility. It's not a casual choice. It's irreversible and defines another's entire existence. The ethical burden is immense. You're responsible for all the suffering that life will contain. Antinatalism argues that the standards for responsible procreation are impossibly high. If you can't guarantee a good life, a healthy planet and consent, maybe don't create life at all. At minimum, we must radically raise the standards for parenthood. Think deeply and ethically before you create. So, that's the case for antinatalism. 15 reasons to question the default of parenthood. The goal isn't hopelessness, but reflection. In a world that glorifies having kids, simply questioning that narrative is radical. These arguments challenge us to weigh our desires against the impact on others and the planet. Share your thoughts below. Let's have a real conversation. The choice to create life is the most consequential one we make. Let's treat it with the seriousness it deserves.